All right, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Or just give a thumbs up if you got video camera. All right, so up on the, I'm sharing my screen with everyone, so we kind of have a small agenda here. This isn't a traditional step in the planning and development process, but the city thought that would be the best interest for this development to kind of get input from, or kind of educate people what is going on in the Bielinski subdivision development. So once we get going here, there's going to be discussion. John Donovan is here from Bielinski Homes. He can give any further detail. And then once John and I are done discussing what's planned on being done, we'll open it up to public questions or comments on the development. So I'll pull up the plans.
Jacob, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, John.
I would use this plan. I think it's the best for people to see.
All right. So Bielinski is proposing to do a general development plan for the Hunter Oak subdivision for the areas that have been not developed currently. So what we're seeing here is most of these condos in here and here have been built, as well as Area B is currently being built. Area B is to go into phase 2 after these are built, and then there's Area AD has to be. There are some issues that have to be resolved there with Elmont Drive being vacated for the development of these condos right here. So what Bielinski is proposing is in Area G here, which is behind these condos here. These are single-family homes. They're a smaller single-family home. They're not a large lot. They're more of a starter home style design. If you go to Florida or do vacation in Florida, what are known as villas, these are that kind of development here going on in this area G here. Area C, I think that's CB or CA. That is not owned by Bielinski. That's owned by it's in Helixson, so that is not part of this development whatsoever. And then area H here has been developed, and then area I3 is proposed to be duplex condos, just like all these other condos up in here, and in area B. And then area I2 and area I2, they're all single family dwelling or single family regular size lots. And then area J is the proposed Reagan Park that needs to be developed, and we will get into that with the general development plan as well as the planning and development process to move forward on that. But for the most part, there are no proposed apartment complexes in this development. What is being proposed is all single family residential. There's single family duplex condos, just like in areas E and area B in the plan proposed. So moving forward, John, do you want to go on Plan Commission next week, Monday already?
What would be the one after?
We're trying to figure out if we're going to do November 23rd because that's Thanksgiving week. You might be seeing that one.
Then I would say let's stay on for the 9th.
Okay. So what happens with the planning development? There's 4 steps. We're going to combine steps 1 and 2 here because they're a little further along, which is the concept plan. So this will be reviewed by site plan review as well as the plan commission, and they'll review it and give comment to John and Bielinski Homes. And then when it comes to this phase, nothing is legally binding. There's nothing holding John or Bielinski to anything that's said during this meeting. It's to get feedback from both sides to kind of get a sense of where they want this development to go. After that comes step 3, which is the general development plan, which goes in front of not only the plan commission, but also the common council for approval. And that one would then create a general development plan for pretty much areas G. I think AD's already kind of been addressed in a CSM, if I could, or maybe not yet. And then areas I3, I2, and then J will all be part of the general development plan that will go again in front of the Plan Commission as well as the Common Council for approval. And then as Bielinski does phases, they will have to then go for what is called a precise implementation plan for the plan unit development. So they would have to go again for each section that they do, go before Plan Commission and the Common Council to get approval for that section of the development that they're going to move forward. So each addition would then require another review by both Plan Commission and the Common Council. So the planning development allows for flexibilities in design, density standards. And there's a purpose to that. It's to allow the best, what the city sees as the best development possible for an area. And we've met with the mayor and the city engineer. We really like this concept of what Bielinski's proposing, specifically area G. We don't have any type of housing like that in the city of Watertown. This is a new opportunity for us, and we believe that it will be in high demand, much like the condos are currently in demand in the Bielinski subdivision. Am I missing anything, John?
No, I think that's a pretty good general overview of the total project. I'd like to go in detail at some point in regards to Bielinski's goals and working with the city, but I'll wait till you're done.
You can go now, John. I'm done then.
Okay, thank you, Jacob. Good evening, everyone. My name is John Donovan. I'm the development manager for Bielinski Homes. I've been with them almost 4 years. I've been through planning and common council with you guys in regards to condominiums and before that it was apartments. Bielinski is fully aware and accepts the residents' views on rental units, apartments within this development. We have no intentions of coming in with any rentals. Bielinski has made that decision in regards to what is left for the general development plan and the development of Hunter Oaks neighborhood. With that said, you know, this general development plan started in, I think, 1999. It lasted for, I think, 15 plus years. It is now expired. Bielinski and the city have had conversations, a couple of meetings in regards to site layout, how to create the park, can we get some parking for the park, all those things in regards to what is left here to be developed by Bielinski. The goal here is for Bielinski and the city to work together to complete this general development plan, so there's a commitment from the city to Bielinski and Bielinski to the city. Our goals for next year are to start phase 2 of the condominiums, which are up on West Street. And
this conference will now be recorded.
The other goal is to start the single family just east and include the park. And our other goal is to start area G, which is Jacob referred to as Florida villas. I refer to them as cottages. They're going to be anywhere from 1350 to 1650 square feet. They're going to be 2-story townhomes, individual, on smaller lots. And they will have 2-car garages. They will have 2.5 baths. They will have anywhere from 3 to 4 bedrooms. We are actually, you know, what was proposed here was more condominiums in that area. And I believe they were possibly 4 to 6 unit buildings. And so Bielinski is giving up 25 total units in the development to go and provide the city with some diversified housing. Bielinski has and will be submitting plans, building plans for each of these areas. So the process is that we have to get commitment from the city, and we want to give commitment to the city. Those are our goals. And we're looking forward to continue working because we are a provider, a main provider of single family and condominium residential development throughout southeastern Wisconsin, especially in Watertown. So those are our goals. And if Jacob feels he wants to open up to questions, I'll let him handle that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. So I will open it up to discussion if anyone has any questions for John or myself. Currently everyone's on mute. I'm going to unmute everyone here. And then from there, I just ask that you each go individually and not try to speak over each other. And then anyone that has a question, feel free to ask right now.
So you're looking at the first area you're going to start in is the one behind the current condominiums on Belmont Drive in what's known as Area G. And these are going to be what you refer to, please correct me if I'm wrong, single family starter homes? Am I right?
Go ahead, John.
I don't know if I classify them as starter homes. That's a connotation that I can already tell doesn't fit well with some people. Look, Bielinski has been looking, and people have asked in communities that they need affordable housing. Is this affordable housing? Is this going to change values? No, not at all. I don't think there's any. These are diversified subdivision that we feel there's a need for. These homes are going to be probably 280 to 300,000 starting. So they're going to keep the values up because that's what we're selling homes in the other areas for. And just so everybody understands, when development moves forward every so many years, you all see in different communities where the single family homes actually get more expensive. Doesn't mean they're getting larger, they just get more expensive. It's development costs, it's the cost of materials. Those all create higher costs for developers and building home construction. So we're trying our best to keep pricing as low as we possibly can. But I classify these as so does Bielinski, they're cottage homes. They're more of a single family townhome. There's 2 levels, 2 garage. We will be bringing 3 plans to the Planning Commission at some point. We have them under preliminary right now.
But they'll be individual, they're not going to be units of 4 and 6, which is present currently on Hunter Oaks Boulevard. Am I right?
We have no control over that area. That's
No, the ones that you've already built on Hunter Oaks.
Yeah, those have been built. They were built, I don't know how many years ago. There is vacant land there. There is a developer out of northeastern Ozaukee County that purchased the land, but I don't know what's going on with the rest of that light blue area.
Okay.
I would assume the city's going to want a continuation of what's been built there already.
I would assume the same thing, because it's Hillcrest Builders that own that property currently.
Okay.
But again, I haven't heard, since they purchased it, what their I mean, I've seen some preliminary plans, but I haven't seen any movement going forward.
Right. Well, I believe I don't know if there's any preliminary plans of record with the city, but I think there was some design.
They had developed a condo plat, but I don't think it's been recorded with the county. So we have to follow back up with that developer.
Does the city have any limit on size of those lots for a single family?
Well, again, because it's a plan unit development, it allows flexibilities outside of the standard zoning code, which is what Bielinski's going to do. But that was the entirety of the previous Bielinski subdivision, was that it was a plan unit development that allowed flexibilities. In our 2019 comprehensive plan, we identified in our comprehensive plan that we need to start looking at allowing for developers to have smaller lot sizes, which reduces the cost which allows them to develop more properties and reduce cost on the individual parcels, as well as the development, or the individual parcel developments. So it's been in our plan since 2019, and we are currently working on developing a code that allows for more dense development in our city, just to accommodate what our comprehensive plan has set forth for us to do as a city moving forward, because this is identified as a need in our city.
How big are the lots?
I would say just offhand, and we don't have anything where we've done any survey work at this point, but in the illustration, I would say they're probably 60 to 65 feet wide by maybe 100 feet. So that gives you 6,000 square feet, somewhere around there.
And the current zoning code for single-family residential is 8,000 square feet, but again, because they're doing a plan unit development, they're allowed the flexibility to go to a 6,500 square foot lot if it's 65 feet by 100. So it's, again, if we move forward in our comprehensive plan, I think we identified 6,000 square feet as being the ideal for the smaller lot, single-family parcels. So this is this development moves along with what our plan commission had identified and our common council had identified in the comprehensive plan in 2019 as an optimal development size for single-family residential, in a more dense and strategic format.
And how many units are there in that G area?
I believe there's 35 single-family lots, and it was originally approved for 60 condominiums on the previous. So we're losing 25 units. The whole development will lose 25 units in total compared to the regular general development plan that was in place at one time.
And I don't know how many of you have seen the original general development plan. It's been a while since that's been pulled out. But area A, D, and B, well, area A, which was this area right here, was to be commercial at one point in time. Because this was never an on-ramp area for West Street, County Trunk Highway T, it kind of killed any commercial opportunity on this for smaller neighborhood businesses. And then this area right in here that I'm highlighting was supposed to actually be a 60 unit or so apartment complex.
Actually,
3-story.
yeah, Jacob, I think there was 81 units,
Yeah,
and I think it was for 3 27-unit apartment buildings with underground parking.
yeah. So it's the density standard since Bielinski started redoing this area and then proposing here, has the density of the amount of dwelling units has actually decreased in this area as opposed to what was originally planned in the 90s. So it's nowhere near as dense as what it was once planned for.
So the idea and concept of the apartments in that beginning area, I think if my glasses are
That's the
working,
fire department,
is B, and those will not be apartments?
has the fire department looked at that access, that single family thing?
Well, it will go to site plan review. Site plan reviews, it's all the department heads. So it's fire, police, engineering, water and sewer. We will all meet and go over this concept plan with Bielinski next week, Monday, to go over the details of this, and that's when everything will be discussed.
As far as the building, you're planning to go ahead with finishing up the B next? Because I know you, on the 4 units are just about completed, so then you're gonna do those other 6 units next, or 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units
Yeah,
next?
our goal is to start those next spring, along with next summer, the single family east of the park and the G area. Those were our goals, but for sure that phase 2, which is area B, that will definitely start next spring.
Okay. And the AED wouldn't be started then?
The AD would not. I'm just gonna clear the record here. The AD unit is zoned, but the civil engineering plans have not been completed and submitted. There's some challenges that we have to address. One is the vacating of the roadway, and number 2, providing stormwater management. So we can't move forward with that phase until we do both of them. My guess is that phase probably won't start till 2022.
So G would be tentatively scheduled for next summer?
Correct.
How many units would you build on?
Well, we'll develop all of G and put all the infrastructure in. And then we usually start, it's no different than the single family homes. We usually start anywhere from 3 to 5 ready homes with a model. And we start planning for more until we obviously go through the sales area and find out how many people are interested. Typically we go 3 to 5 ready homes with a model for each individual area, and we go up from there.
That's in front of us. Okay, there's. That's
For the length of time, would you say over how, and would, it depends upon the market, of course, but how long would it take, you think, to develop that G? That'd be next?
Which area, G?
Oh, the G.
Well, it would take me probably from start, which is an interesting word. What is the start of development? I say when the first bulldozer starts moving, because there's a lot of work that has to be done before that. It'll take 90 days to probably put all the infrastructure in, at least. So we wouldn't be building houses there unless we work out something, as a model or two that the city will allow us to do while we're doing the infrastructure, which a lot of communities do. We wouldn't be starting construction until probably November of 2021 on the actual homes. Typically, you have to have all your infrastructure development in before cities allow you to start construction. When you're the developer and the builder, there are potential concessions about that, so that it works out for everybody to get the project moving. But I would say to you, development would be done by late October. Possible construction on the cottage homes would start in November, December. We don't slow down at all in regards to excavating a basement anymore. The weather's been cooperative, the last 20 years during winter construction.
He's almost. In the area that says, what's this say? 1-3?
Yes.
Does that say 1-3? What would your anticipated
Same.
that be?
The same. Area 5, or I should say Area G, Area 1-3, Area I2, single family, whatever we come in with, we'll have to put the roads, streets in, utilities in, energies in. This stuff takes a long time.
Oh, yeah.
So our goal is, if we're starting 3 phases, everything has to be contracted, ready to go, and it's going to be advantageous for us to use multiple contractors for the whole site, because they're gonna give us the best price for each phase. And to have them work consistently, constantly through each area to get it ready for the end of October, November. But, you know, when you see we don't come in and mass produce in these construction of condos or homes. We usually have a plan in place, and it's all depends on, obviously, the economy and the market. So when you look at area I-3, the condominium two-family ranches, yeah, there's a demand out there, but that demand is, you know, we're not gonna build out every condo there. And you know, I don't wanna confuse anybody, that area isn't actually planned for next year. The areas that are planned are phase 2 up front of the villas off of Western and the main entrance. Area G, and then the eastern portion of where the park and the yellow is, probably anywhere from 20 to 25 lots in there. That'll be developed. The city would like the park, obviously everybody in the neighborhood would like the park, so that will be a condition that we basically agreed with the city, that area will be developed first for single family of that specific area of I-2, so that they can get access to the park.
A park would include what? How would the park be developed?
That is an interpretation that hasn't been discussed yet.
And usually that falls on the city, when, to develop, there's a parkland improvement fee, there's a fee for that, and that
There's
goes
like a-
into a,
yeah. There's a fee in lieu of us paying for equipment and that, the city takes care of it.
Yep, so the city would be taking care of that. I haven't looked at the park and open space plan. That would be your best, it's available under the documents section of the city website. It's called the Park and Open Space Plan. That goes into further discussion on the city's plans for, Reagan Park. If I'm recalling correctly, which I may not be, I think it's more of a passive area. It's not a child's playground area because of the woods. Area K down here that's your traditional park with the playground and stuff like that. This is more passive, like nature trail type of recreation, as opposed to swing sets and
Yeah. The park, the Reagan Park is probably more than half wooded, so you're only gonna have the open space in the front where you see the curved road in the parking lot.
Interesting.
And that park has always been planned there from day one,
The drive behind those present condos on Hunter Oaks Boulevard, the ones that are there, that'll be adjacent to Area G, will that drive be resurfaced or redone?
Are you talking the main entrance boulevard?
Oh, on the backside of, well, it would be,
the private alleyway behind Area F
we don't-
that lets G.
We don't own that.
Yeah, correct. Bielinski does not own that, so that's a private alleyway, so it would be on the current developer of whoever owns it.
Which is Hillcrest.
Correct.
And those homes in Area G would back up? Their backyards would face that alley?
They would face the alley, yeah. I'm sure
Okay.
I'm sure we'll be doing some extensive border landscaping, not, you know, I mean, we're not creating berms, but we'll be putting trees in and things of that nature, bushes.
Okay.
But it is, you know, there's something would have been backed up to it, so.
And so the next meeting regarding going forward with these projects will take place when?
Well, the next meeting would be on the 9th. That's in front of it goes in front of site plan review. Site plan review doesn't typically have, neither one of them would actually have a public comment section for this one because nothing here is legally binding. It's a concept plan review by the plan commission, and Bielinski goes before us, kind of shares what their thoughts and plans are for this development. The city kind of discusses what their thoughts and plans are, and then Bielinski then goes back to the drawing board, or they just move forward with submittal to the city for the planning and development. Then they would go again before the plan commission and site plan review again, and then that would go in front of the common council as well as an ordinance for the general development plan. There'd be a public hearing as well in front of the common council for it.
That's what I was going for.
That probably won't be till December or January.
Okay. Just a clue as to when that would be.
And most likely, I would think probably January would be the...
It all depends on publication timelines because we have to submit
Right.
7 days in advance to the Daily Times. And if there's holidays, we have to work around the holidays because they won't publish. Since they've gone into mail, they don't publish on days that are postal service holidays. So then we'd have to figure a way around. We'd have to schedule them around the holidays.
The best case scenario would be Monday, Planning Commission. We go back, then we have to go back to the Planning Commission in December. And they won't be able to hold a Planning Commission meeting and a Common Council meeting in the same month for this development. So it's going to be at least the Common Council, my guess is not going to be until January or February of 2021.
And the stormwater, I know you had mentioned AD, you know, that hasn't been, what about the drainage there or that area G? Has that been addressed at all yet or not?
No, this is, again, concept plan, and there has been discussions on how we have to proceed. And we are looking at internally developing the stormwater in Area G, because Area C is not owned by us anymore. And we have reached out, they have reached out to us to see if we'd like to purchase it. The easiest would be to do a stormwater across to the larger pond. There is no easement in place, so we don't have the right, the city doesn't have the right to do anything. So the only way it works for that area is if Bielinski acquires that property. And we've had discussions with the developers in Watertown, and I can only say that they bought it for a certain amount and they're asking 10 times the amount they bought it for. And Bielinski believes it will never, and I don't like saying never, it will never be built the way it was originally designed, with 3 27-unit buildings with underground parking for apartments. So as of now, we have to deal with the stormwater management for each area individually and combined as a whole. And that will come through with the civil engineering plans that will be needing to be submitted for each phase.
And regarding this stormwater drainage over in area 1-3, next to Horseshoe Bay Road,
Oh, I don't have Horseshoe Bay Road on here, but
there's a question.
Just
Okay,
I-3
I'm
there,
sorry, Horseshoe Road,
yeah, what's the question?
the stormwater drainage, stormwater pond collection area in between East Horseshoe Road and area 1-3. Is there any plans to do anything with that pond to speak of?
Well, that pond isn't built.
I know.
Well, you're not gonna build a pond until you put development in. So that's, I think I indicated that's probably not gonna be until 2022 or past.
Because it's just there collecting water.
What is?
That pond.
Oh, well, it's supposed to collect water. That's what it's there for. I guess what's the question? What's the specific question?
The question is,
That pond, you see the larger pond and then you see the smaller pond to the south?
correct.
That whole area of condominiums and part of the single family, because you know there's a ridge there of a hill from the park to Horseshoe Bay, it all goes downhill there. So it all has to be calced out. Engineers do it. City engineers look at it and they all come to an agreement that it works. And those sized ponds that you see in that area, which are 2, will have to be sized to be able to collect and hold the water on site.
There has been water problems in that area.
That's because there's a farm field where the condos are and nothing's ever graded. You're talking between the 2 condominiums. We put a storm in there so that, but the water rushes off the farm. Until that gets all built and graded, it won't be changed. It can't be.
Okay.
I mean, that's how development works, unfortunately. And I think we all understand, and so does Bielinski, trust me. It's been 20 years here. And, you know, a lot of their development isn't completed. So they have a major investment in Watertown in the future here, like they had 10 years ago and 20 years ago. I think everybody at this point's goals would have been, look, they should have all been built out. Totally agree with that. But who said we were going to have 6 to 8 years of a down economy?
Yeah.
And that could happen again. We just had an election.
Pray that it doesn't.
And it's not over.
It won't be over for a week.
I know. So at least we all understand nothing will change for a week.
Yeah, at least that.
So
Okay.
this is a process. There's so much work you guys don't understand. Jacob does, maybe some of you do, that is behind the scenes to even get to a shovel. There is so much work for all of it. So that's a major commitment, you know, by Bielinski and the city and everything to get, it's to everybody's benefit that they totally understand and acknowledge what the next final plans will be for Hunter Oaks. You know, if there's a plan, at least there's a plan. For 5 years, there hasn't been.
Now, would this be like a 5-year plan or 10-year plan, or?
Couldn't tell you.
So when the general development plan would be approved, it starts a clock for a precise implementation plan to be developed. So they have about 5 years to finish each development, and then that closes out. Is they start a new development, and it restarts the clock for that development. So each new development gets 5 years to pretty much complete.
Okay.